I've been getting a lot of comments and questions about Vaseraga in general, how to play, how to build, how does dodge cancelling work, so time for a guide. I've been playing Vaseraga since the base game and have been running a skill-focused enmity based build the entire time since then. In Endless Ragnarok, Vaseraga is now more than ever focused on low health gameplay. And by the way, there's a written version of this guide in the description below, you have the link. You don't have to watch this video. If you don't like watching videos, you can just click on the guide and you will have everything that you find in this video in written format, with pictures, with examples, with links to small clips that show you some text. So if you prefer something more text based, it's there. I'll keep it updated as well. Vaseraga is a character built around taking damage to deal his own. His moveset is made of slow, stationary but powerful charge attacks. His gameplay revolves around the grind of gauge and staying at low health by cycling or planning ahead the skill Immortal Pain. The grind of gauge fills up either when using Melee Unleashed or by landing charge attacks. It provides 3 buffs in order, from left to right. The first is Stout Heart, the most important buff of the 3. Much like the Sigil of the same name, this makes you immune to any form of knockback and interruption. The second is Defense Up, and the third is Attack Up. By being permanently immune to any interruption, Vaseraga can charge up his attacks to completion without any issues. Immortal Pain is a skill that makes you unable to go down under 1 HP so long as it's active, and it also provides Veil, which protects you from debuffs. By activating Immortal Pain before attacking, you can safely charge your attacks while face-tanking whatever the boss throws at you. In Endless Ragnarok, Vaseraga has the ability to cycle this skill indefinitely so long as he's always attacking the boss, giving him great survivability, assuming you never miss a swing, of course. Vaseraga has 3 grounded combos, all have a different use. Combo A is used for mobility, useful to chase bosses or to reach a downed party member. Combo B is used for AoE situations like Conflux or Slimes. It also makes you move forward a little bit and has very good reach. Combo C is your main damage combo. It also hits quite high. You can chain it into the final strike of this combo after any damage skill or after a link attack. The heavy attacks are stuck behind extremely slow light attacks that do very little damage and serve almost no purpose. Thankfully, those are skippable by dodging. He also has air attacks, but those are pointless. He's very much a grounded character. Something else I'll be mentioning a lot is Warpath buff. That buff comes through a Sigil. It's triggered by using Melee Unleashed, and it trades 30% of your health for 30% more damage. I talked about Immortal Pain in the introduction, and that should already show you why it's such an important skill. When used, Vaseraga does a long animation before getting the buff. You can dodge cancel as soon as you get the Undying buff to lose less time on its timer. For 30 seconds, you are effectively immortal and impossible to debuff. When paired with cooldown reduction sigils, and especially the character-specific sigil Ebony's Poise, Vaseraga becomes able to cycle Immortal Pain so long as he's hitting a target with fully charged swings. This lets you play very aggressively and recklessly, because hitting the boss becomes the way you survive. Since you get Veil from Immortal Pain and you have Stout Heart from Grind of Gauge, you can pretty much ignore absolutely everything outside of these spells, which are very uncommon. Battalion of Fear is Vaseraga's best mobility tool, his fastest shortcut into a heavy charge finisher, and it comes with very low cooldown. The damage it deals is low, but that is not relevant at all considering how fantastic the utility is, letting you zoom across the map to land a massive swing. Damnation, a skill that once used to be completely pointless, became incredible as soon as the expansion hit. It has 3 charges, has low cooldown, drains your health on demand, gives the 40% jam buff and can be shortcut into your finisher fairly quickly. This skill is what lets you loop finishers infinitely outside of blink time, making your damage skyrocket. With enough cooldown reduction, you only need Damnation and Battalion of Fee to do Vaseraga's full rotation, leaving the final slot as a flexible one. The first 3 skills showcased are core, you must have them. The next 2 are a pick one situation. It's more about what kind of utility you want to bring to the party for the quest. Graveside Greenough is the most general pick. It has great stun, great reach and good damage. The extra stun compared to its peers makes it a very strong pick to help with the many stun checks of the late game. It also increases the party's damage by accessing link attacks faster. I personally recommend this one for the Essence and Insight Master traits. Nezarath is a fantastic party-wide damage mitigation tool thanks to it bringing Substitute. It does respectable damage, it comes out quite fast and can let your entire party ignore specific mechanic when paired with Immortal Pain. The issue being, if you're holding it, you're not hitting, so you're not getting cooldown back, which means longer Immortal Pain downtime. A simple tap can go a long way in protecting your teammates however. I'd recommend this one more for the Crux Master trait. The remaining skills are not that great. I'll still talk about them, but there's not much reason to actually pick them. Forgotten Tales works as such. It sets your hostility value to an extremely high number, guaranteeing you'll get the aggro for the duration of the buff, making sure you're the only one focused by the boss the entire duration. It also provides Drain on casts, which is nice to heal up when out of Immortal Pain, or if you don't want to run Immortal Pain, but that's not the average build I would recommend. It's a good skill, overshadowed not by just better skills, but by a sigil too, the Provoke Sigil. Even at level 10, it's an extremely noticeable difference in aggro management. In the base game, we did not have much flexibility when it came to sigils, but in Endless Ragnarok there's a little bit more flexibility, meaning you can actually fit in Provoke, making Forgotten Tales forgotten. That was terrible. Umbral Eclipse. This one is a bit hard to recommend in multiplayer. It has low damage, it takes a very long time to hit, it applies a debuff that may or may not increase the party's overall damage. It's one of my favorite Vaseraga skills, but my application of it was in the case of solo speedruns, which is not relevant to you or the guide in general. It's a tool to support your party, but as far as support tools go, you have better ones. Better off leaving the slow application to a different character. Violent Shadows are pretty much only relevant for AoE fights, like Slimes or Conflux. It does really good damage, but it's far too slow to ever be worth using. That's about it, there's nothing else about this skill. Normal attacks can be skipped by dodging. This is faster than letting the entire animation play. It gives you mobility and the ability to reposition better and faster. By doing a dodge, you are storing the part of the combo you are currently at. This allows you to do a light attack, dodge multiple times, and continue your combo. On top of that, Vaseraga gets an attack speed increase if he dodges before doing a charge attack, letting him charge even faster. This also applies to dodging after a damage skill or a link attack, letting you shortcut into the final strike of his combo C extremely quickly. Skill cancelling is inputting a skill during a normal attack animation, whether it's before or after the hit. You can see here that I immediately go into a skill after hitting my finisher. This is skill cancelling. This lets you shortcut multiple combo finishers in a row. It's the most important way you'll use it, but not the only one. You can use Vaseraga's first combo for mobility and cancel it into a skill as you reach the end of your slide, meaning you don't have to let the combo fully play out, or have to dodge cancel out of it. Great to reposition for your next shortcut. Skill cancelling Melas Unleashed is the fastest way to refresh your Warpath buff and get back to your rotation. Don't dodge cancel Melas Unleashed if you can help it. Sometimes you might lose your stored combo after a link attack. This happens when you use a skill and trigger link attack before your skill goes on cooldown. To avoid that, dodge roll out of your skill, do a light attack and then trigger the link attack. If you've ever played the character before the expansion, you might remember that he was using Combo 2 as his main damage dealing attack, and completely foregoing skills outside of Immortal Pain. This has changed. The cap on Combo 2 is much lower, the cap on Combo 3 is now much higher, especially the final swing. Endless Ragnarok also lets you cancel into the final swing from any skill that deals damage. On that note, it used to be possible to infinity chain the first combo's finisher in the base game, but that was also removed and I am very sad. Very. That actually used to be one of my favorite parts about this kit, being able to slide all over the map. Vaseraga's best rotation outside of Link Time is rotating your skills to upkeep the jam buff from Damnation and shortcutting into the final heavy strike. In short, skill, dodge, heavy. Use Damnation at least every 2 skills for the best uptime on jam buff. The shortcut to the finisher is enabled once a skill goes on cooldown, not before. Here's a list of every timing. For Damnation, you can go into the finisher as soon as your health drains or jammed appears. For Battalion of Fear, you can instantly cancel it into a finisher. For Grefsai Greenough, you need to play the full swing animation to go into the finisher. For Netherwrath, you need to get the substitute buff to go into the finisher. For Violent Shadows, as soon as the first puddle hit happens, you can go into the finisher. And for Umbral Eclipse, as soon as the scythe hits the ground, you can go into the finisher. The only time you would not want to use a skill before going into your finisher is to set up the full combo free when the boss is away, letting you get an extra heavy swing without compromise. The full combo free is also what you'll use if you're under the effect of the skill seal debuff. For Link Time, you want to loop Battalion of Fear into a heavy swing. If you have enough cooldown reduction, you can skip the skill hit. But if you don't, or if you're using the Crux build, let it hit before dodge cancelling. If you enter Link Time and you need to lower your health, temporarily switch your rotation to Battalion of Fear, Heavy, Dodge, Malice Unleashed, until red health. You can also do one loop of this if you need to refresh the Warpath buff. This variant is terrible for damage. You need to avoid being in that situation. Upkeeping buffs is crucial for Vaseraga, and there are 3 you need to have on all times: Immortal Pain, Ebony's Warpath, and Stout Heart. For Immortal Pain, you need to land 6 fully charged swings to get it back if you have Ebony's Poise, Cascade, and supplemental damage. 7 if you don't have Cascade, and double that number if you don't have supplemental damage. It's your absolute priority to get it back before anything else. This includes resurrecting teammates. If the critical bar is high enough and you're not close to getting Immortal Pain back, you must keep attacking until there is downtime. It sounds selfish, but if you prioritize helping a teammate get back up when the critical gauge is still high, you are just going to be the one on the floor later. If the critical gauge is low, or if there is downtime, rush to them. You got nothing to lose at that point. If the Warpath buff is about to run out, you should make it your priority to reapply it. A good way to do so is after a combo finisher. You can dodge roll, use Malice Unleashed, and cancel it into the skill to continue rotation. Another good moment to refresh is after your SVA. Stout Heart comes naturally, but it can be dispelled. So if you're fighting Lucilius or Beelzebub, keep an eye on your gauge. If the icon suddenly turns grey, it means it was dispelled by one of their attack. By upkeeping these buffs, you will naturally come to stay at low health, letting you make use of the Jam buff from Damnation and the Sigil Celestial Nyx. I'm going to make a very short section about builds for the base game. It's going to stay bare bones, because that's not the focus of this guide, but it should be more than enough to get you started. Outside of mastery nodes, in collections, weapons don't truly matter. Upgrade them all for the passives and fight Protobaha until you drop the Terminus. Imbue it with a Vitality Rightstone of your choice to aim for 100% critical rate. Remember that base game Terminus requires you to be at 45k max HP or under. Above, and your weapon becomes useless. This is why Tyranny will always appear in the following builds. You also need echoes, either supplementary damage 45 or Berserker Echo Plus, to be able to cycle Immortal Pain, which is why only 2 barebone builds are shown. Adjust with your own sigils. But really, even if you don't have a single echo, don't sweat it too much. You should make it a goal rather than a starting point. You'll want to buy Ebony's Poise and Ebony's Warpath from CRO ASAP. Don't bother going for Lucilia's Sigils. Just move to Endless Ragnarok, you'll be drowning in good sigils when you do. First setup, Berserker Echo Plus. I'm showcasing screenshots because I accidentally sold all my sigils because I have autosell on the non-plus sigils. So you'd have to do with screenshots. Cascade, Poise, Warpath, Damage Cap, War Elemental, Improved Dodge, Tyranny, Berserker Echo Plus, Potion Holder. Berserker Echo Plus has 2 sigils. It can be anything you want, it does not matter. This is literally as barebone as it gets. The supplementary damage setup: Cascade, Poise, Warpath, free damage cap, War Elemental, Improved Dodge, Tyranny, and free supplementary damage 5. As barebone as it gets as well, but we're sacrificing a damage cap to guarantee supplemental to trigger. It's way too important to not have it. Building in Endless Ragnarok is a little bit different from base game. Let's start with weapons and imbues. When you start the expansion, pick one of those 3 and transcend it as far as you can, either the Defender, the Stunner, or the Stinger. The Executioner is not great, and you're not going to be actively aiming for weak points, you're not going to be chasing the back of the boss either, so you're not going to benefit from the buff at all. The other 3 has a very easy to trigger passive, so just adjust your sigils as needed to reach the required values and you'll do just fine. As soon as you have the option to transcend the Ascension weapon, transcend it 3 to 4 times and then equip it. Transcend it as far as you can and stick with it until you get to transcend Terminus 4 or 5 times. Terminus is the best option for damage, but I would argue that Ascension is better when you want more survivability, due to it having Sigil Booster too, letting you get 1 extra stack of Guts and Auto Revive. All weapons except Terminus have 2 built-in passive you can swap around. Here are my recommendations for all of them. You'll want Greater Aegis and Improved Guard for the Defender weapon. For the Stunner, you'll want Link Together and Potion Holder. For the Stinger, you'll want Firm Stance and Guts. Make sure to imbue a Stun Right Zone on Grinuf and Asurav, and a Crit Right Zone on Soul Eater. For the Ascension weapon, slot in Sub Damage. Supernova is what you should always go for, and I'm not even sure why they give you the option to remove it. That's weird, but anyway, add a Stun Right Zone to cap stun as soon as possible on this weapon. For the Terminus weapon, the only real option is Nimble Defense, unless you already have Nimble Onslaught somewhere in your build. If you do, just use Guard Payback, nothing else really is worth anything there. We can move on to the Right Zone. So now, the great thing about Right Zones is that the first line does not matter anymore. You can take anything for level 20. HP is technically the best one, but it does not matter. Just take whatever. The second and third line are most important. For level 15, you should go for Supplementary Damage, Potion Holder, Cascade, Quick Cooldown, Precise Wrath, Firm Stance, Quick Charge. Highest value goes to the Sigils who don't benefit from Sigil Booster 1. All options are really competitive with one another. Level 10, Guts, Auto Revive, Firm Stance, Cascade, Precise Wrath, Quick Charge. All of these sigils do great at level 10. Cascade 10 requires a little bit of help from Quick Cooldown 15 somewhere else in your build, so otherwise it's not going to be very useful. But it's still good. If you want to stack another Cascade to reach level 20, this is also a really good option. Sigils, the meat of the build. Let's start with the most important ones, the character sigils. Ebony's Poise is a massive cooldown reduction sigil, and it is the reason why you can even cycle Immortal Pain in the first place. Each fully charged combo finisher will reduce your skill cooldown by an incredible 8%. For reference, Cascade at max level is 2%. This sigil triggers based on the amount of hits, including supplemental damage triggers, meaning that you trigger it twice every swing and 2 more times for every additional target. You need this sigil to play Vaseraga efficiently. Ebony's Warpath, another fantastic sigil. Whenever your Granblue gauge is visible on screen and you press Melas Unleashed, you trade 30% of your health for a 30% damage increase, which goes beyond cap. It is an absurd damage increase, and on top of that, it lets you lower your health on command to reach values required by Celestial Nyx and Jammed. For both of those, the optimal sub-sigils paired with them would be Damage Cap and Quick Charge. Other very good rolls would be Potion Holder, Guts, Auto Revive, Cascade, Quick Cooldown, pretty much the same as the Imbues really. General Damage Sigils. War Elemental, 320% extra damage. Berserker Echo, Spartan Echo, Supplementary Damage 45. Stack all of them, you'll need them. The many different damage cap sigils, which include Damage Cap, up to ×4 with all weapons except Terminus, stick to ×3. Fatebreaker 15, unconditional cap up, use it. Celestial Ventus, highest priority to slot in, disable Seal from teammates, and Link Time. Celestial Nyx, and melee based damage cap, needs to be at sub 25% HP to trigger. Celestial Terra, tyranny based damage cap, pair with Aegis to reach Spartan Echo's conditional. It goes without saying that you will rarely make good use of Celestial Lumen as Vaseraga, so that's why we use Nyx. For Celestial Ventus, it makes it so that your teammates cannot heal you, meaning you can consistently stay below 25% HP to maximize your damage. This also affects Link Time's healing. It's a direct upgrade to the old sigil Life on the Line. If you don't have Celestial Ventus, slot in Life on the Line until you get Ventus. The sigils do not affect shields, only heals. Quick Charge is the only attack increasing sigil you will ever need. The charge time decrease is extremely important for Vaseraga. You get the most out of a single quick charge sigil, don't bother going for a second one, it's not worth it. Stun power becomes a lot more important in higher difficulty, and with the master trait that gives you extra damage cap for every common stat sigil. Early on, you can just slot in 20 stun imbue and your weapon and forget about it until you reach endgame. Without a stun imbue, aim for 3 stun sigils, minimum. With a stun imbue, go for 2. Improved dodge is key to Vaseraga, since you're going to be doing a lot of dodges to shortcut into faster finishers or to chase after a boss without losing your stored combo. You will need to have more than the base dodge count available. Cascade. As important as improved dodge, you will need it for Vaseraga to function. Very strong cooldown reduction sigil for a single slot. Quick cooldown. Excellent addition to any build. Crux Vaseraga benefits the most from level 45, as it drastically changes his rotation. Essence and Insight Vaseraga can stick with level 15, but can aim higher if there's space. Guts, important to have as it's never consumed before the Undying buff. Consider it as an extension of Immortal Pain if you want to land one last swing, and the Undying buff has already run out. Potion Holder, important in high difficulty, if only because Blue Potion add link % and let you heal teammates. The extra Revive Potion is also extra helpful if you screw up. Beyond that, potions are helpful if you have Immortal Pain downtime, or if there's boss downtime, or when paired with potent greens in specific fights that have a lot of dispels, like Lucilius. Next up, medium priority sigils. Auto Revive, the higher you go in difficulty, the more important this becomes, as mistakes happen more often. Any Immortal Pain gone wrong, and Auto Revive will become a crucial safety net. Firm Stance, mostly fight specific, you want to have at least 10 to 15 levels equipped for endgame fights. Level 26 makes you immune to everything with the Mastery node that makes you pushed and pulled more by 50%. Lower priority sigils. Celestial Aqua, powerful as it triggers during the entire SBA chain, link time and breaks, but should still come last in your build because it's so conditional. Provoke, surprisingly potent at redirecting aggro to you. Your teammates will thank you for not moving, and you get to bash the boss head without him zipping all across the map trying to chase the Twain or the EO in your party. Immortal Shell, kinda sounds like Immortal Pain, pretty funny. Low damage increase for Vaseraga specifically, and very difficult to fit in, not worth taking over Celestial Aqua, comes last. If you can fit it in, great. If you can't, it's fine, forget about it. HP, common sigil to use after capping stun, usually 2. Can also use crit if you're not crit capped. Can be ignored to fit in more utility or more cooldown reduction. Celestial Incendo should come even later than Aqua in your build. It's okay, not great, not amazing, it's fine. Lucilius Sigils. Alpha, Gamma are very much not used anymore and are worse fillers than HP Sigils. Avoid unless you really have nothing else to slot in. Alpha takes priority over Gamma. Ebony's Presence, useless. Unless you have it on Ebony's Awakening to use Poise, don't bother, it's pointless. Optional Sigils. Precise Wrath, high execution, I don't recommend it when starting out. It's the strongest cooldown reduction sigil in the game though. You can make great use of it with the new block mechanic that lets you perfect block during any animation, including charge attacks. Potent greens. Situational, helpful specifically for the Sigils and Beelzebub fights, as they can dispel your debuff immunity and inflict you with skill shield. The best part about the Sigil is that you get one for free from Merlin and you get sub damage with it. Flight over fight. Buff this expansion, you no longer have a permanent minus 50% attack. Instead, this only happens after a perfect dodge for 6 seconds. Very good defensive sigil when you mess up cycling Immortal Pain. Untouchable. Increased dodge distance. If you got the space to fit it in, it's a nice bonus. It's incredibly helpful against Bahamut Versa. It's okay to good in other fights. Sigil Order. Due to new passives, the way a sigil is ordered matters a lot. In simple terms, this gives you 40% damage cap. This does not. Here is a sample of what a build taking advantage of this passive looks like. This lets me trigger the general damage cap passive 5 times, because I have 2 health, I have 3 stuns, and this lets me trigger the defensive and health increase passive 4 times, because I have Cascade, Precise Wrath, Improved Dodge, and Quick Cooldown. In total, I gain 200% damage cap, 40,000 HP, lowered by 30% by Celestial Terra, and 24% defense. Note that Zerg Eco and War Elemental are on my summons. I hope that clarifies things. Summons. Ideally you would want to have War Elemental, Spartan Eco, Berserker Eco in your summon slots, as those sigils cannot be fused, meaning you cannot reorder them to benefit from the new Mastery Trait passives. In general, any sigil that you use that does not benefit from sigil booster, such as celestial sigils or more utility based ones like Potion Holder, are more than ideal to use when paired with a normal attack damage cap up. Stun summons are also a great alternative to normal attack cap up, as sources of stun are limited and stun checks are heavy in the end game. Plus, stun can be considered as a party-wide DPS increase, so it's not completely a damage loss. If it helps you save slots to get more utility in, it is worth using. Beyond that, I don't actually call summons in fights, so I cannot tell you what would be good as your online summon. Overmasteries. Get stun and normal attack cap up to max. If you can get anything extra like skill cap, SBA cap, chain burst cap, great. If you can't, doesn't matter. Stun and normal attack is what you need, and if you have to choose, stun over normal attack. The screen I'm showing right now took about 1.5 million mastery points worth of saves coming. Mastery traits. We have 3 traits to work with: Essence, Insight, and Crux. All of these are viable, and they change your playstyle slightly or a lot. Essence, large and in charge, the tree that allows the fastest gameplay, coming in with extra damage cap, faster charge attacks, enhanced damage, and some supplemental, all for the low price of 3 landed swings. By far the most comfortable build to play Vaseraga with due to the very large amount of charge speed you gain, actually helping you land the swings better. The trade-off is that if you miss a swing, you lose all of your stacks and you have to build them up again. As bosses in general have a lot of mobility, this tree will let you be able to land a swing where you previously could not, letting you pump even higher overall damage. I recommend this one to anyone wanting to take their gameplay to the next level. Insight. Hooked on combos. The tree with the strongest single hit, giving a whole 20% enhanced damage. It has some conditionals. You need full gauge and then you need to land several swings to build your stacks. You have 4 stacks to build. This tree is a lot more forgiving than Essence, since the only time you will ever not be at full gauge is if you die. From my own tests, it looks slightly under the Essence tree when it comes to DPS, with Essence edging out not just in shorted content, but by virtue of having a faster charge, therefore the ability to land more swings. This build also has a weird gimmick of wanting to empower your light attacks, but you can just ignore that part completely, they don't get strong enough to ever matter. Additionally, this is the only tree that gets to pick the second Immortal Pain minus 5% cooldown node for free, making it even easier for the player to manage Undying downtime. If you're starting out with Vaseraga, or if you want to be chill with Vas, I'd go with this one. You don't have to worry about stacks and you have lower Undying downtime. Crux. Punishing parries. Unlike the previous 2 trees focused on raw damage, this one is more focused on support. You gain stacks from landing perfect charge parries. Those increase the cap, reduce the cooldown of your damage skills, and only those, nothing else, cap and cooldown of damage skills. By stacking all available cooldown reduction sigils, which would be Poise, Cascade 15 and Quick Cooldown 45, you get to change your rotation to Battalion, Heavy, Damnation, Heavy, Battalion at 5 Crux stacks, freeing to you the use of your last damage skill. This means you can keep Netherwrath for multi-hit opportunities to maximize its damage without gimping your own damage rotation, or you can just keep it for pure utility, like to protect teammates from a Paradise Lost, for example. Keep in mind, you gain stacks from both link attacks and perfect charge parries. Do not hold your charge too long in an attempt to farm stacks, you'll get them fast enough. You can farm stacks during boss downtime in phases where projectiles are thrown at you, like the Ice Dragon's Overdrive for example. It's free. If you're looking to run Netherwrath to support your party members, I would go for Crux. Also, I say support, but keep in mind that Vaseraga supporting the team includes constantly landing big swings on the boss, like the other two mastery trait trees, just with a different rotation.
Try and stop one fell stroke. The Reaper awaits. It's over! Tell I show no mercy. Have a taste. The Reaper awaits. Lord, damn! You can't! I show no mercy. Have a taste. You will know pain. Lord, damn! The Reaper awaits. It's over! The end is nigh. I show no mercy. Lord, damn! You can't! The Reaper awaits. The end is nigh. I show no mercy. Lord, damn! You will know pain. The end is nigh. The Reaper awaits. It's over! I show no mercy. Lord, damn! One fell stroke. The Reaper awaits. It's over! You can't!
Specific mastery trait notes. There's a few we have to talk about right now. Like this one. This one looks very self-destructive, but it's free for us. Vaseraga can negate the debuffs on self, which are damage taken plus 50% because you have Immortal Pain. Doesn't matter how much more damage you take, right? The duration of debuff plus 50%. You have Veil during Immortal Pain, which means it also doesn't matter how much debuffs they throw at you unless you get dispelled, but that's a different story because you have options like potent greens. But there is movement restriction plus 50% on it. This affects push and pull effects such as Hurricane's Tornado, the world's black holes, Lucilius' spinning sword, and Beelzebub's many mechanics. Plus 50% means you get pushed 50% more or pulled 50% more. Vaseraga natively has 20% resistance to that, so you are 30% more actually. You can offset this by using Firm Stance as a sigil, which is going to be enough to let you have a very healthy push-pull state. Though, if you're not prepared, you will still miss your charge attacks if you have to deal with push-pull and you're not ready for it, as in properly positioned. In that case, you can also add a level 10 Imbue or a second Firm Stance sigil, and you will be completely immune to any form of push-pull. All in all, this is great. You basically have no downsides to this. You should pick it, but if you don't want to, that's fine. Not forced. Just very much recommended. It's free damage. The more defensive traits. Why? Why does Vaseraga need defense? We have Immortal Pain. Okay, but imagine you mess up. What happens then? Well, you'll need defense. This is going to compensate for any mistake that you make, or any phase where you don't want to use Immortal Pain, like let's say the boss is not targetable, so you can't hit them. So why would you waste Immortal Pain there, right? You're just going to do a mechanic, walk around. No point for Immortal Pain. And that means if you mess up there, you're going to take big damage. So you'll want to not take big damage during that time. You'll want a bit more HP, a bit more defense. This is exactly what you're going to need. And it's not like there's much alternatives, right? There's like 45% damage cap on Battalion of Fear, which is like nothing. or another node of Immortal Pain, minus 5% cooldown, but the issue is that you already have so much uptime on it, you're not covering your downtime enough. Which is why we take a bit more defense. If you don't want to take more defense, that's fine. It's perfectly fine. Just be ready to manage mechanics and IP downtime. That's about it for this video. I'm sorry it took so long to put out. There was a lot to test, there was a lot of discoveries, especially Cascade, all of the Immortal Pain swings and timing and supplemental and optimizing the sigil setups. All that took a very long time. There was a lot of recordings I had to do and double check and compare, and like frame by frame at times. It was very much a long process. I'm happy to finally be done with this video. It was a struggle. Regardless, if there's anything that is missing in this video, you will find it in the written guide that is linked in the description. Again, this is going to be updated live when I find new things. I can't update the video live, but this one should have every single relevant information that you would ever need, unless they do like gigantic balance changes, right? Like, I don't think they're going to do that to Vas. They did not do any balance changes to Vas in base relink for like bloody years, except giving him Warpath. That's about it. Anyway, thank you for watching, thank you for staying. Go swing, slam the boss into the ground, have fun, get your Undying, get your buffs up, and feel immortal. Enjoy. Have a good time. Bye.